Hey, welcome in. This is Kyle is Wonderful here with another wrestling review. This time with Impact Wrestling, the episode from June 16th, 2022. And this will be the go home show going into the 20th anniversary, the Slammiversary show this Sunday night, Slammiversary pay per view for Impact, the formerly known as TNA Wrestling. So, having their 20th anniversary, I started following this company about 18 years ago. I gave up when the Hogan era and the Bischoff era happened. I came back right after they left, and then left again when the Jeff Jarrett was bringing the global force in. But then I came back yet again. So Impact will never die. It seems like at this point, I would expect to see them at a 40-year anniversary, even if they only continue to get about 50,000 viewers a week. So Impact will never die. And we start tonight's episode, like I said, the go home show, the final episode before this weekend's Slammiversary show. And we get a recap to start. So we get a little recap of last week's Josh Alexander, who is the heavyweight champion of Impact, and he will fight Eric Young, a TNA original, been in TNA for 18, 19 years, somewhere around there. And Eric Young will challenge Josh Alexander for the championship. So we get a recap at the start here of last week's Josh Alexander versus Joe Doring. If you don't know Joe Doring, he's part of Eric Young's faction, which is called Violent by Design. They've also got Cody Deaner, of all people, with them. If you remember him from being with ODB way back in the day of TNA. So that's the threesome called Violent by Design. They used to have Rhino with them, but it kind of is a kind of cult like, so it seems as if Rhino was brainwashed into being there. Eventually, Heath Slater, of all people, saves Rhino, and those two formed the tag team, the first ever SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Heath Slater and Rhino. Anyway, I'm getting all over the place, but I just wanted to give people an idea, if they haven't been watching Impact, of what's going on. So if you are a big Impact fan, I'll get to the show soon here. So, anyway, last week, Josh Alexander used the Violent by Design flag. They carry a flag, their stable's flag with the logo on it, with them everywhere they go. Josh Alexander grabbed that flag after, of course, there was cheating and stuff on the other end by the heels before this. But Josh Alexander does get DQ'd and caught by the referee using the flag on Joe Doring last week. So, he then stood up to Eric Young, and Josh Alexander sent Violent by Design packing all on his own without any help. So that was how last week's episode ended, and they will take up the entire 15-minute main event segment in a contract signing / promo battle. So that will be our main event, the contract signing for the main event of Slammiversary, the world title match. Josh Alexander out of Canada, former tag uh, tag champion, called the team was called the North, and his Josh Alexander's partner, fellow Canadian Ethan Page, who you guys might have seen on AEW as recent as this week against Miro, the former Rusev. So all kinds of stuff going on here. Yet another opening song from the past. I think for the Impact opening, they've been running all the different songs like the Cross the Line and all the other ones. This one I didn't recognize, so it must be from the Hogan era. But pretty cool nonetheless that that Impact's been running all the old songs for their openings. This Sunday, Impact, like I said, will celebrate 20 years as being in existence. And we start tonight out with the go home show, like I said, Impact Women's Champion, which they call them the Knockouts Champion. So the women's division in Impact is called the Knockouts Division. And Tasha Steele, the former tag partner of Kira Hogan before Kira Hogan went to AEW to become a baddie. And Tasha Steele's out here with her heavy and her bodyguard, I mean, Savannah Evans. And this is going to be a tag team match to set up on Slammiversary. It'll be, it'll be the first ever women's Queen of the Mountain match. So Tasha Steele will be defending her title in the first ever Queen of the Mountain match. If you guys have ever seen the King of the Mountain match from Jeff Jarrett's past and TNA's past, which I've seen one of those live here in Detroit, where Samoa Joe turned heel to allow Kurt Angle to win, and that's when Samoa Joe joined the main event Mafia. But the rules of that match, just real quick, is basically you have to get a pinfall or submission to be able to be eligible to then hang up the ladder in a ladder match. So it's like a reverse ladder match almost, but you can't just go up and hang the ladder, the title up there. You have to then first be eligible by getting a pin or submission. If you are then pinned or submitted, you have to spend, I think, 2 minutes in a penalty box, which is a shark cage that they lock until your time is up. So a little convoluted. We'll have the first ever women's version. They call it the Queen of the Mountain instead of the King of the Mountain. And Tasha Steele actually won this title after winning the Ultimate X, the first ever women's Ultimate X, and she got instead of the title hanging up in that match, it was just the X. So then she used that as basically a Money in the Bank to cash in and win the Knockouts Women's title. So Tasha Steele is your champion going into this match. Or going into the pay per view. In this match on Impact, she was, like I said, with her bodyguard Savannah Evans. Evans definitely needs to get some better gear. She looks just kind of cheap in her plain looking gear. But I will say one thing about Savannah Evans is that she's improved a lot in the last 6 or 8 months that we've seen her on Impact. And she's still got a long way to go, but she wasn't very good at the beginning, and she has improved a lot. So I'll give her that credit for that. Now it's time to get some better gear. Hopefully she's making enough money for, and that's the reason why she can't get it. Anyway, Jordan Grace is out now, looking amazing, big muscles and all that. And her partner for this match also going to be all three of these women in the match, other than the bodyguard Savannah Evans, will be Mia Yim is teaming up with Jordan Grace. Mia Yim, formerly of NXT and WWE, the wife of Keith Lee in AEW. Mia Yim's returned back to Impact, where she was formerly in Impact TNA as part of the Dollhouse with Taryn Terrell and Marty Bell. Now Mia Yim's here, and she's got an amazing entrance. It's hip hop vibes, it's dance vibes, it's cool colors and stuff like that. So an amazing entrance here yet again by Mia Yim. The crowd's really into her. She's got a great look to her. The sky's the limit for Mia Yim here in Impact Wrestling. So potentially Mia Yim might be my pick to win the first ever Queen of the Mountain match this Sunday. Anyway, the other two that's in this match are Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green, and both Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green are heels, and they have formed somewhat of an alliance. And Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green are watching this match in the back next to each other. So that's all the setup for the match. Savannah's, like I said, showing a lot more confidence than she did 6 months ago. Crowd's really into Mia Yim. Mia Yim fights out of a double team at one point, and then both Mia Yim and Tasha Steele both look a little bit different than usual. So it looks like they got some new hairstyles or something, or maybe there was a new makeup artist in the back. But they just both look way different than usual. Jordan Grace gets in on a hot tag and cleans house. She hits a Vader bomb that when they kick out of the, immediately transfers it into a crossface, which was awesome. That was the Tasha Steeles from Jordan Grace. Savannah Evans eventually breaks it up and takes out Mia Yim, and Jordan then takes out Savannah, so that we get a double team to Tasha from the other two. Again, both of them trying to soften up the champion for the big title match, the big Queen of the Mountain match this Sunday at the pay-per-view. Tasha kicks out of the double team maneuvers, and Tasha eventually takes both out. Looks to go over the tag Savannah Evans, but Savannah Evans is still down from that getting taken out earlier. So Tasha then counters about 2 double teams. Tasha Steele's counters until Mia Yim eventually hits Jordan Grace on accident. Jordan Grace gets pinned off of this for the 1-2-3. And Jordan's starting to yell at Mia Yim. The announcers kind of spoiled that this was going to be the ending. Right when they were coming out, Tom on announcing said, like, "Oh, I wonder if they can get along with this big match." Like, just the way he said it, you knew this was the exact ending we were going to get, and that's what we got. So thanks for ruining that finish, Tom. Anyway, we go to the back since, again, Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo are the other 5 in this match. So everybody involved in this segment except Savannah Evans. But since it's a no disqualification match, I'm sure we'll get plenty of Savannah Evans in this match as the enforcer of the champion. Anyway, Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green are in the back getting interviewed by Gia. Comes in and asks them about, like, is there an alliance here? What's going on? Deonna says no, but then Chelsea says, well, everyone else seems to be forming alignments, so maybe they should. Deanna says there's only one Queen of the Mountain, however, and walks off. And Chelsea's like, well, I mean, you're right, but I'm also right. So we'll see where that goes. I'm sure they'll have an alliance and then break up mid match. Mickey James is then, we're told Mickey James will be the special enforcer for this first ever Queen of the Mountain match. So another blast from the past, although Mickey James is still part of the roster. But if other than like Gail Kim and um, the beautiful people, and of course Awesome Kong, I mean, you can't get much more OG than Mickey James. All right, so also that's the end of that segment. Also at Slammiversary, we're told the Knockouts tag titles will be defended. It'll be the Influence versus the kind of oddball. Can they get along? Can they not get along? Tag team of Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie. A good team on paper, but will they be able to get along against the Influence, who's a well-established team? So, and then we're also reminded the men's tag team titles will also be defended. Current champions, the Briscoe brothers, will defend against the Good brothers, which is Carl Anderson, who just over the weekend won his first ever singles title in New Japan, the never open weight title. So he'll come in with a lot of confidence, and his partner Luke Gallows, of course. So that should be a great match. If you guys missed last week, go check it out on YouTube. The Good brothers visited the Briscoe brothers chicken farm, where they had the fight with both the Briscoes and their father. So that was a pretty funny segment last week. Go check that out. Tonight, we're told, however, it'll be the Briscoes versus a different pairing of Bullet Club members. And one of those Bullet Club members just so happens to be the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, Switchblade Jay White. So Switchblade Jay White is on Impact this week. He'll team with Chris Bay, one of the newer members of Bullet Club, but not the newest member of Bullet Club. If you remember, Ace Austin, the X Division champion, after his great showing in the Best of the Super Juniors, where all the fans were loving him, and they said there was lines around the building to get his autograph from the Japanese fans. Turned heel, joined the Bullet Club before he even got back home. So, but yeah, going back to Switchblade Jay White, of course, this is taped probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and so was the New Japan Strong show that was aired last Friday. But if you go in a week span of the TV shows I watched Jay White on NJPW Strong, which is their American from the LA dojo based show. Later that night, so that was taped. Later that night, we see Switchblade Jay White in the main event of the New Japan Dominion show, the second biggest show of New Japan of the year, winning the world title. Then we see Jay White in the ring again, confronting Hangman Adam Page on Dynamite on Wednesday here in America. So this man's flying all over the place. And then, of course, here on Impact. So 4 different shows in a week span. Jay White all over the globe trotter. And like I said, we'll get the contract signing between Josh Alexander and Eric Young for the Impact World title in the main event. Then the show takes a drop in quality. So what part of the theme in the last few weeks has been bringing legends in, bringing in old TNA legends and people from the past. We've seen it's been a slow decline, let me tell you. A couple weeks ago, we had Shark Boy and Chris Harris. That was a pretty funny segment, just a quick backstage interview with the two of them with Gia. Then we got Gia introducing us to Matt Morgan, the Blueprint, and so a definite nosedive from Shark Boy and Chris Harris, the Wildcat. And now this week, it's potentially 2 of the worst wrestlers I've ever seen in the world, let alone Impact history. Nobody wanted them, nobody asked for them, but here they are, second generation wrestlers. Wes Briscoe, no relation to the Briscoes. This is Jerry Briscoe's son and a terrible wrestler. And he's joined by Garrett Bischoff, Eric Bischoff's son. And they are here to represent Aces and Eights. Oh my God. So 2 of the worst wrestlers in TNA history are on my television screen in 2022. They talk about the old days, the Aces and Eights with Gia, the interviewer girl. Vincent comes in. He's part of Honor No More, the former Ring of Honor people that all formed a faction in TNA once Ring of Honor folded. They call themselves Honor No More, and they got Eddie Kingston to turn heel on the rest of the Impact faithful and the fans, his wife even, and joined those former mates in Ring of Honor. So that's one of the big stories coming into this whole thing. Vincent, like I said, is here with Kenny King, making his who's made his return to Impact a couple months ago. Matt Taven and Matt Bennett. I don't know if Matt Taven might be the wrong word, but Taven and Bennett are here. Matt Bennett was also formerly an Impact, if you remember, wearing like the Hawaiian, or I mean, the pineapple button-up shirts. If you remember, he was feuding with him and his wife were feuding with Cody and Brandy in Impact. So anyway, two of the worst wrestlers ever, Wes Briscoe and Garrett Bischoff, being interviewed by Gia. They're talking about aces and eights. Vincent, Kenny King, Taven, and Bennett walk in. King basically buries them dead. I didn't write down what he wrote, but King just basically says, "You guys are trash. What are you even doing here?" Wes Briscoe and Garrett Bischoff, unfortunately, don't back down. Officials have to break him up. D'Lo Brown happens to be one of the officials that breaks him up. Former like vice president of Aces and Eights. So I'm like, oh my god, where's this going? Wes Briscoe and Garrett Bischoff say, "Yo, D'Lo, you went corporate, man." And oh god, Wes Briscoe and Garrett Bischoff want a match against Honor No More tonight. Please, God, no. D'Lo says, well, he has the power to go talk to Scott Demore and see if he can make that happen. So, Lord, please don't let that happen. I don't want to watch Wes Briscoe and Garrett Bischoff. Good Lord. So, man, why couldn't it have been Shark Boy? We get an ad break and then we come back. We get a Josh Alexander video package yet again. So, second video package of Josh of the night. He's this time he's talking in it. First of all, Josh Alexander cannot talk. He sounded like a complete blithering fool in these promos. He sounds like he's reading off of a cue card. He sounds like Ronda Rousey. He's Ronda Rousey levels of promo. I understand that Josh Alexander is a great wrestler and he represents the company as a great champion in and of himself in the ring and all that. Give this man a mouthpiece or just do not ever have him talk. So, um, a heavy Josh Alexander promo episode and of Impact, and Josh Alexander cannot talk. He sounds like he has no emotion and is reading from cue cards. So anyway, Josh Alexander tells us about how it was nice to win the title again after the whole he won the title, but then Moose won it right off of him, like Money in the Bank style, in front of his family. His family and little child were in the ring when Moose hit him with a spear because they were celebrating Josh Alexander winning the title for the first time. So it took months and months for Josh Alexander to regain that title, including a point in time where it looked like Josh Alexander was not going to re-sign with TNA, and they even told us Josh Alexander was not going to re-sign. Then they brought him back like a month later, maybe not even a month. Josh Alexander eventually avenged the loss and got the title back from Moose. So that's where the world title story is at right now. So again, I know that Josh is not sounding good in this backstage promo. It sounds like he's reading the cue card. Then Eric Young's in the promo. He sounds a lot more natural talking. Crazy Eric Young at its best. Eric Young says the past is the past, and he will fulfill his destiny. He says it didn't have to be personal, Josh. Um, and Eric Young was much better than Josh in this little backstage video package promo thing. So based off of that, I want Eric Young to win. If they're not going to give Josh Alexander a manager or a mouthpiece, he has no business being champion. Speedball Mike Bailey's now out next, who's amazing. If you guys have not seen Speedball Mike Bailey, definitely check him out. He's kind of on the smaller side, but he's not all about high risk maneuvers, which he can do well, but he's more of a karate based MMA striking gimmick with martial arts and stuff like that. Speedball Mike Bailey is from Canada, and there's they tell us the story every time he has a match that he was stuck in Canada with visa issues for years and years and years. I don't know what happened, but he couldn't get a visa to get out of Canada to wrestle elsewhere. So this guy was just toiling away in the Canadian independence until he finally got his visa a couple years ago. He's also either married or his girlfriend is Veda Scott. You might remember her from ROH. I think she's might have had some ties to Impact before too. But one of my MVPs of the all the matches over the WrestleMania weekend was Speedball Mike Bailey, who was just churning out match after match after match. Especially good was his match against Bandito. So go if you want to go check out Speedball Mike Bailey, go check out his match against Bandito. It was one of the it was at the tribute card and over the WrestleMania weekend this year. So Mike Bailey's out. He's going to be a part of the X Ultimate X match. There is an Ultimate X match for the X Division title, and of course, the X Division champion is Ace Austin, who missed all of these sets of tapings because he was over in Japan, like I said, doing the best of the Super Juniors all month, having like 12 matches in Japan for a month time. So Ace Austin was off not only to get better himself with all these experience in getting better in the ring with all those matches, but representing the Impact brand as still be showing the Japanese crowd that Impact and the X Division title is still around. So, like I said, the Japanese crowd love Ace Austin. And I can definitely see him getting back to Japan soon. Speaking of Japan, I can see Mike Bailey doing good in Japan too. But here's Mike Bailey, one of the contenders in the Ultimate X match later. I'll tell you who's in that match later because they let us know in the rundown later. But Speedball Mike Bailey's out to a big, not nearly as big a cheers as I would have thought. I thought Speedball Mike Bailey's a bigger star than that, but the crowd only cheers him a little bit. And I guess that's because already in the ring is Trey Miguel, who's also a big baby face. And if you guys don't know, Trey Miguel was 1/3 of the Rascals trio, which also featured Desmond Xavier and something Wentz, and that is the MSK trio of Nash Carter, and it was Zach Wentz and Desmond Xavier who are Wesley and Nash Carter of MSK. So there was a third MSK member. He is Trey Miguel. They were called the Rascals, and Trey Miguel's now been alone for a few years, or at least over a year, and has won the X Division title in the past before losing it in a triple threat match. So this is the first ever one-on-one meeting right now between Mike Bailey and Trey Miguel. But those two were in the ring together in a triple threat match where Ace Austin won the X Division title from Trey Miguel. So that's for that title's little recent history's been. We get a Speedball chant, so at least some people are recognize the greatness of Speedball Mike Bailey. And like I said, this whole match is this helps set up the Ultimate X match on Sunday. Uh, Basically, just go watch this match. Good X Division action, super fast paced. We get a nasty kick uh, to to counter a dive from Miguel. So like a nasty kick from Speedball, where Miguel was trading. Trey Miguel was trying to dive, and we get an ad break out of that. So pretty good length to this match. When we come back, we get a standing from the ground Phoenix Splash for a 2 by Mike Bailey. So Mike Bailey's just going crazy in this match. Like I said, has high flying moves and martial arts. Mike Bailey's using his size. He's got a little bit of a size advantage over the really small Trey Miguel in this match as well. Mike Bailey does all the basics extremely well. He's got great striking, great high fly moves. I don't think he can talk, but just again, where are all the managers? Why did managers stop being a thing? All you need is a manager for all these guys that are great in the ring but bad at talking. Anyway, we get a mistiming or a bad timing on a tray counter. I don't, but it was hard to tell who mistimed it or if it was a team effort on that. But we get at one point we get that Miz the combo that the Miz does, but there was a third part of the combo that Trey Miguel did, which was locking in the sleeper hold, and that was pretty cool. Mike Bailey was able to get to the ropes. They're both gasping for air from all the high pace action at this point. So they go from gasping the air to why don't we trade forearms and start some strong style? So we get a strong style type match here. This is classic X Division. X Division, if you guys saw X Division from the very beginning back in 2004, it was they were putting on matches unlike anything ever seen in America at the time, or mainstream America at least. Maybe ECW at the tail end of ECW was putting on some matches like this, but the original X Division was just an amazing sight. And nowadays, the X Division is almost every match you get on AEW, half the matches you get in WWE, half the matches you get in New Japan. They're all came from that X Division, that original X Division, which is a hybrid style of Canada, Japan, Mexico, um, America, and Britain, and all of those things combined, usually with a smaller guy, but not always, as you can see with like a Samoa Joe was a big part of the X Division. and by being a bigger guy and not necessarily just wrestling like a big guy. He had dives and all that stuff. All that stuff we take for granted now was originated in the X division as far as American mainstream wrestling. Anyway, like I said, we're getting great action here after the trading of the forearms. Then we get trading dives back and forth. So Trey Miguel and Mike Bailey going out all out for this match. And selling went out the window. So again, another trademark of the X Division, another trademark of mark of like the AEW matches you'll watch with like the Young Bucks and stuff. There is no selling. They'll get hit with some huge move and then just get right back up so that they can hit the other guy with a huge move, and then they both get right back up as if they never got hit with anything. A lot of old time wrestling fans don't like that style because it's like it cheapens everything they do. If you just get up from every move, what actually is going to beat you? So I understand that. So I like to have a good mix of everything on my wrestling show. I want to watch a grappling match, and then I want to watch a high flying match, maybe a comedy match, then a women's match, then a powerhouse match, then some luchadors. So I like a little bit of everything personally. If everything's like that if the entire card consists of these X Division type matches or like a Young Bucks match, and it's 7 matches on the card, and they're all like that where there's zero selling, that's when I don't like it. So with everything has to be just like everything in life, as my mom always says, everything in moderation. Um, and it's also the law of diminishing returns. So I didn't get to the end of this match. We get a roll up out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. Trey Miguel wins against the run of plays. Trey Miguel was kicking out of everything. He was getting his butt kicked towards the end and just kicking out of everything. Like I said, they were selling went out the window. High paced match, good match. So go check out Mike Bailey versus Trey Miguel. We get an ad break at this point. We come back with a recap of the Sammy Callahan and Moose. I wrote down crap because I have not been liking the Sammy Callahan and Moose stuff whatsoever. They get a sit down interview with Moose, like all this in a package. And Moose says he's unremorseful about anything. He doesn't regret anything he did. He literally made Impact better when he was champion by any means necessary. And then Sammy talks about how it's going to be a Monsters Ball match. So it will be a Monsters Ball match this Sunday, Sammy Callahan versus Moose. And one good thing about this match, they've had Monsters Balls matches all around for a while. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, what's a Monsters Ball match? It's basically just a hardcore match with no rules and a lot of weapons. But they're finally bringing back after, I don't think we've seen this style of the Monsters Ball in over 10 years. It's been over a decade, I think, where they're bringing back the gimmick of the original concept of the Monsters Ball when Abyss made it up. And I think it was Abyss and Raven, maybe someone else with them, but you have to be locked in solitude and like in a nothing to drink, no power, no electricity, in the dark for 24 straight hours, and then you're only released when the match starts. So obviously it's kayfabe, but they did mention on Impact that starting I think at 9 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night, you can watch the 24-hour live stream cam of Moose and Sammy Callahan in solitary confinement, which I don't know how they're going to do that if it's going to be legitimate. I don't know what's going on. It might seem like they're in solitary confinement, but Sammy Callahan's really just watching Star Wars or something. We don't know, but definitely interesting, and I'll give you guys the report on the pay-per-view how that went. But anyway, um Sammy says the Monsters Ball is going to change them. We get a lot of shots of Abyss. So if you don't know, Abyss has joined WWE as far as being a backstage producer and someone to help out backstage. Abyss wasn't in WWE to be a wrestler. His body's way too shot. But Abyss is a TNA legend, and if you remember, Impact had Mickey James come to the Royal Rumble, and they allowed Mickey James to come out with the Impact Knockouts Championship. So there's potentially a favor to call in, and it'll be interesting to see who and if who might WWE allow who, and if maybe Impact wants 3 people that are currently signed to WWE. Maybe WWE would say, well, okay, well, you can only have one of them, and these people range from AJ Styles, Bobby Roode, and Abyss. So we might see Abyss make an appearance in this Monsters Ball match. I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if that favor that comes back in for letting Mickey James be in the um, Royal Rumble with the Knockouts title. I think that favor will be letting Abyss come and join this TNA uh, Slammiversary card, the 20th anniversary, I'm pretty sure they would, of course, want AJ Styles to be on the card and Bobby Roode. But I'm pretty sure, at least with AJ Styles, that WWE would say no. I don't know about that, but here you can have Bobby Roode and Abyss. So that's my guess, but I really hope we get all three. I hope we get as many legends on Slammiversary as possible. So I'm assuming we'll see Abyss at some point during this Monsters Ball, and maybe even Ken Shamrock, who has shown to be friends with Sammy Callahan in the past and helped Sammy Callahan against Moose in the past. So Ken Shamrock might also show up. But other than that, I'm not really looking forward to it. Like the Sammy Callahan Moose crap the last couple weeks hasn't been that good. Next match, we got a knockouts match, second knockouts match of the night. It's Masha Slamovich. She's got a really good look to her. She looks like a killer if you guys have never seen her. And she's out now. Last time we saw her, she pretty much had a squash win over Havoc, which is pretty impressive. And then Shaw has been being threatened by Masha recently. So that looks like maybe a potential preliminary match we might get at Slammiversary. Giselle Shaw versus Masha Slamovich. If not at Slammiversary, then on Impact in the next coming weeks. And when Slamovich gets to the ring, we see poor Alicia Edwards is in the ring. That's Eddie Edwards' wife. She's been a character on Impact for many, many years and was basically thrown to the side when she questioned why Eddie turned his back on Impact and turned heel. So Alicia has kind of been out on her own here, and here she is about to get destroyed by Masha, I'm assuming. So Masha lets Alicia get a free shot at the very beginning, and after that free shot, the match is over in 30 seconds. Masha hits Alicia with a snowplow, which looked nasty. Like I said, the match is over in 30 seconds. Giselle Shaw is now on the outside. Like I said, is now feuding with Masha, and she goes in to check on Alicia. That's Giselle Shaw does. So we get a Masha Giselle stare down here. They didn't mention if it was a Slammiversary match, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a Slammiversary match. And I'd be looking forward to it. I'm assuming Masha would win, but I would prefer to see Giselle win. Um, then we go in the back, and Taya finds. She said, "Oh, I've been looking for you everywhere." To Rosemary. So again, Taya and Rosemary, a little bit of an odd pair, like odd couple tag team. You know how they love to do those. They don't. Are they gonna get along? Kind of deal. So Taya's all happy to find Rosemary and all that, and Rosemary's like, "I'm not buying it. Like from all the stuff in the past, I'm just not buying it with you, Taya." Rosemary tells her, but they kind of seem to be on the same page by the time that 10 seconds later. So they have pretty good chemistry, Taya and Rosemary on the screen together. If you saw my NWA review, you know that I'm not a big fan of Taya Valkyrie. I feel like she went into business for herself because she was told she had to lose to Natalie Markova, and I don't think Taya wanted to lose that match, which sometimes you got to lose. I mean, at least you're getting paid, right? Anyway, we go to ad break from there after the Taya and Rosemary. Like I said, Taya and Rosemary are fighting for the women's title tag team titles at the pay-per-view Slammiversary this Sunday. So now we get Bullet Club for life out. It is Jay White, the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Jay White's out with Chris Bay. They're going to team up, and they've got Hikuleo and the Good Brothers with them, so not too bad of a backup. They mentioned that Ace Austin is the newest member, but he's at home resting, and I'm sure he is at home resting, but when this was actually getting taped, Ace Austin was in Japan for the best of the Super Juniors tournament. So, um, good way to explain him away there. We get Bright Lights Anderson, the new never open weight champion, and Doc Ellis on commentary. They were hilarious throughout this match. Definitely go find and watch this match. It's Jay White and Chris Bay, and they're going to fight the Briscoes, who are the tag team champions of Impact. So really, really good match here. Briscoes are out to some huge cheers. We get told when the Briscoes are coming out, good timing. Southern Hospitality will be the next event after Slammiversary. That'll be July 2nd. So that'll be a packed weekend. That Saturday is Southern Hospitality TNA. That Sunday is Money in the Bank, and then we've got a big NXT 2.0 event on that Tuesday as well. All of this is really close. We've got Forbidden Door before that as well. So a lot coming up. I'll be here to review all of it. So stay tuned. But yeah, great match here. Definitely go watch it. It's the Briscoes versus Bullet Club, Jay White and Chris Bay. And Jay White starts out the match, and he's in. I can't believe I've seen Jay White in the ring with the Briscoes, Okada, and Hangman in a 6 day span. That's crazy. So Gallows is putting over Switchblade big time. Then Gallows really puts over Chris Bay big time. Then they even put over Hikuleo, who's not even in the match. So the Good Brothers are just here to put over the other Bullet Club members, which is great, and it's all done really funny with a lot of comedy. So good stuff there. Um, High tempo to this match. Again, just go watch it. I'm not going to say every blow, but funny commentary while a high paced match, high tempo, high intensity match is happening. Chris Bay does do a lot of the work for Jay, of course, being the actual impact star here. We get a big dive by Jay Briscoe at one point, takes out both members, but Chris Bay then does a dive to take out both Briscoes. So that leads us to the ad break. We come back. We got just classic heel Bullet Club stuff from Switchblade when we come back. Briscoes end up in control with some good offense. They get close to the 3, can't quite get it. We get a nasty double team power bomb neck breaker, which Switchblade has to come save Chris Bay from that. So some close calls here. Super fast roundhouse kick, one of the fastest round. I don't even know if roundhouse kick is the right way to describe it, but he basically like Chris Bay on one foot did a like full 360 without jumping and flash kicked one of the Briscoes right in the face. So that was nasty and awesome. Um, Chris Bay's definitely a lot more confidence ever since he had a ton of confidence before joining Bullet Club, but now that he's with Bullet Club, he's like unstoppable as far as he has like all the confidence in the world and no fear as far as all these big matches he's been putting in. So great stuff here. We get a code red from Chris Bay for another close 3. And it's somewhere around all this impact action that I noticed. Impact has some of the worst referee outfits I've ever seen in the business. Way too much black. It's still got the black and white stripes, but like a lot of solid black, and it looks terrible. So, Impact Wrestling, shout out. You got the worst referee outfits in the entire business. Congrats. Anyway, back to this amazing match. We get a quick pin out of nowhere by Jay Briscoe to get the win. So, you got to keep your tag champion strong, but kind of out of nowhere on that one. And then Machine Gun Anderson says they had the tights, they cheated, but they clearly didn't. And that tag title match, Good Brothers versus Briscoe Brothers at Slammiversary, should be good. And again, if you did not see it last week, go look online on YouTube. It was the Briscoe Brothers farm and invaded by the Good Brothers, featuring the Briscoe Brothers' father also making an appearance. So go check that out. That was hilarious last week. Video package about a reverse battle royal of all things will be on the pre-show. If you've never seen a reverse battle royal, congrats. It never, don't even look this up. It's part of the pre-show. They're saying it's all about classic TNA, just like shitty gimmicks. Pardon my French, but that nothing screams TNA like this terrible gimmick. So we're backstage. We're told Malabali Shira of all people is going to join the battle royal. We've got people bringing up Steiner Math, how they're going to win. We see Johnny Swinger and Zicky Dice. They think they're going to win. So these are the kind of jobbers you can expect in the battle royal. Probably will win by someone random like Jonah or something. Now we're backstage somewhere else again. Oh, it's Wes Briscoe and Garrett Bischoff. Oh no, they're not wearing aces and eights vest. D'Lo walks out wearing an aces and eights vest, and that seems to be the next match. I cannot believe I wrote here. I can't believe in 2022 I'm watching a Wes Briscoe Garrett Bischoff match. What have I done wrong in life to deserve this? So anyway, when we get back from ad break, we get a video package of last week's action. Well, it went further back than just last week, but kind of explaining the whole Honor No More versus TNA Originals. It started with the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, who I love being from the Motor City myself. And they were eventually joined in their crusade by Frankie Kazarian, another TNA original, and all 3 of these being X Division guys, by the way, so far. So last week there was a 3-man or a 6-man tag, 3 versus 3. Honor No More won that after a low blow, and there's going to be a 10-man tag with all those 6 people in addition to two more of the Honor No More, and two mystery partners for Motor City Machine Guns and Kaz. We find out one of those mystery partners tonight, and we have to wait until at least Slammiversary or maybe some news over the weekend in the next day or two to find out the last one. That's the one where the mystery partner could be like AJ, all the way up from AJ Styles and Kurt Angle to Samoa Joe to Christopher Daniels. Abyss might be where he is, but if you have Abyss, you got to have him in the Monsters Ball, and so we're hoping for big things. But this is where they'd let us know that one of those two mystery opponents will be, our partners will be Nick Aldis, the former Magnus, who has basically resurrected the NWA ever since leaving Impact Wrestling. He is married to Mickey James, so the two of them will both be on the show. And Nick Aldis, the former Magnus, will be part of the TNA Originals alongside Motor City Machine Guns and Frankie Kazarian. So it kind of seemed like Tom had to announce this, the announcer Tom, in post production. You could tell it was like done in post production. So maybe Nick Aldis is a late signing or a late addition, or maybe Impact didn't even know who the heck they were gonna have. So um, we'll see who the mystery opponent is at Summer. What's it called? Slammiversary. Anyway, Nick Aldis, like I said, is going to be there, and Team Impact still has one more mystery slot. I wrote here, I hope it's either AJ. If it's not AJ, Joe, Jeff Jarrett, Christopher Daniels, Kurt Angle, or Beer Money, then it's not. Then it's going to be disappointing. Like, even if they're amazing, even if they are a TNA original, if it's not one of those big hitter names, it's going to be disappointing. Just by the way they built it up. So then again, never thought I'd hear it in 2022. Aces and Eights music hits. Wes Briscoe and Garrett Bischoff are out to the ring, and it's going to be Kenny King and Vincent for Honor No More. So we got three Briscoes on the card tonight, but like I said, this Briscoe's not related to the other two. Wes Briscoe and Garrett Bischoff get way too much offense in this match, and they never take their vests off while the match is on. So then we go to ad break, and Wes takes out both Vincent and Kenny. It takes Eddie Edwards tripping Wes Briscoe to get Vincent to the win. So how bad do you look going into your big pay-per-view match when you can't even beat two guys that never had a prime? And if that was their prime, that was like almost 10 years ago, was 2013. So, and they were so bad in 2013, and it just made everything look terrible. You literally had to cheat to beat these guys that were taking you out on their own, as if it could get any worse. D'Lo was out there ringside. D'Lo, who's an official now, not a real wrestler. D'Lo fires up, shakes his head. D'Lo takes all three members out: Eddie Edwards, Vincent, and Kenny King, and it takes the other two members, Taven and Bennett of Honor No More, to come save the day. And they eventually get the 5-on-1 beatdown on D'Lo before Motor City Machine Guns and Kaz make the save. So we get it. Everybody hits a finisher on Honor No More. The crowd goes wild, and Honor No More look like complete jobbers going into Slammiversary. Good job. I guess the difference maker here is that PCO is going to be part of Honor No More, who we have not seen accompany Honor No More anytime recently. So PCO we last saw last week in an amazing straight out of 1996 ECW in a match against Macklin. So PCO could be the difference maker, but wow, you just made the entire Honor No More faction look like complete jobbers if they're losing to 2013 Aces and Eights in 2022, where they're way worse than they were a decade ago, and they weren't good a decade ago. So terrible stuff there. We're told that Rich Swann is going to fight Brian Myers for the digital media title at Slammiversary. This is because Matt Cardona got injured. He was supposed to fight Rich Swann, but it will now be Matt Cardona's longtime partner, Brian Myers. So Myers will fight Rich Swann for the digital media title for the injured Cardona. And all the people in the Ultimate X match for the X Division title will be Alex Zane, who was also in the Best of the Super Juniors, and for the last month has had a story with Ace Austin, who's defending his title in this Ultimate X. So we haven't seen Ace Austin or Alex Zane on Impact for this entire month, but they had been feuding and having the entire story over in New Japan for this month. So Those two are in it. Mike Bailey and Trey Miguel, who we saw fight earlier. Kenny King, who's part of the Honor No More faction and just got punked. And Jack Evans, of all people, who's an amazing high flyer. Should add some great high flying moves to this match. Jack Evans, you might remember from AEW not that long ago. He lost a hair versus hair match where Jack Evans had really long hair and shaved it because of losing on television, shaved his hair. AEW never really used him in a match again and then released him. So thanks for shaving your head. So hopefully Jack Evans can have a pretty good showing here. And we're also told this is when we're told the Monsters Ball match between Sammy and Moose has the old school, the original Monsters Ball rules where you must be locked in solitary confinement for 24 hours. So they said starting 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in America on Saturday 9 p.m. You can watch the live stream of Moose and Sammy being locked in. I don't know if it's going to be a 24-hour live stream. I don't even know how they would do that, if they would fake it, if they would really do it, if it's going to be real or kayfabe. I'm interested. I'm going to check it out at 9. I'll let you know how it goes so you don't have to. Um, and then we're told so every time Impact ends, right after Impact is the Access, or I watch it on Access TV. Most people in America don't even know where to find Access, let alone have it, or never even heard of it. But I watch Access. I get Impact, and then right after Impact is the New Japan Weekly show, and New Japan is now caught all the way up to, they promoted tonight after Impact is Takahashi versus El Desperado in the Best of the Super Juniors final, which only happened like 2 weeks ago. So that's how close to real time. All of that's in English, so definitely check those out. Those are on if you don't have New Japan World, but definitely I would recommend getting NJPW World for only $9 a month. You get everything, including the pass. So now it's time for the contract signing main event, and I ended up writing a lot more than I thought I would here. So I kind of just, since this was the big main event, Eric Young versus Josh Alexander, I've kind of already told you my feelings about both of them in the show, and especially as far as I don't think Josh Alexander can cut a promo or talk whatsoever. He needs a mouthpiece. So here we are yet again, main event segment. Josh Alexander forced to do a lot of talking. We'll see how it goes. So Scott D'Amore is here. Scott D'Amore is also Canadian. So all three of these people are Canadian. Scott D'Amore, the former manager of Team Canada, all the way back when Eric Young originally was in TNA, like 2004, around that time. And I surely missed that original. I missed that original Team Canada. I may be from Detroit. I've got a little bit of Canadian blood in me, as far as Detroit is such Canadian in culture. It's ridiculous. But I love Team Canada. I loved everything about them. I love Petey Williams, Eric Young, Bobby Roode, even A1. You guys probably don't even remember Alistair Ross, but I even liked him. But I hope we get to see some kind of Team Canada cameo at the Slammiversary pay-per-view. Petey Williams is another person who currently works in WWE as a producer, just like Abyss. So maybe those will, both Petey Williams and Abyss could make an appearance. We've seen Petey Williams on TNA not too long ago, though, before he joined WWE. So it's not like we haven't seen him in forever. So anyway, a lot of Canadians in the ring, and Scott, Josh, and Eric, all Canadian. Scott calls them both family, and Eric Young's out first. He's flanked by his goons as part of Violent by Design, and it's Joe Doring and Cody Deaner. Eric Young's dressed in all black. He's got a black suit, black shirt, looking like Johnny Cash. And Eric Young, he grabs the microphone and he said he's done it all on Impact. I mean, maybe the announcer said, but Eric Young's literally done it all on Impact. He's held every title imaginable at least once, probably twice or three times. He's been here forever. Other than an excursion in NXT, Eric Young has been an Impact original through and through. So Josh Alexander's now out. He's in street clothes as opposed to Eric Young's suit. So Josh Alexander doesn't really look like a champion either, nor does he talk like one. He's a great wrestler, don't get me wrong, but that's not someone you want to put a title belt on. Anyway, first time singles match between the two will be at Slammiversary. Eric Young says he doesn't care about history or celebration of the company. He only cares about becoming world champion and he's looking into the future as world champion. Eric Young's told to sign, but he wants Josh Alexander to sign first. that gives Josh Alexander an opportunity to talk. He says it's ridiculous that Eric Young doesn't care about Impact's history. Josh started out as a fan when Eric Young was starting out in Impact, and Josh Alexander went all the way from being a fan to chasing his dream, all the way to becoming the Impact World champion eventually, as he is now. So, pretty good story there. He said, Josh says him and Eric Young both owe a lot to Impact. Josh does care about the history and celebration, unlike Eric Young. So, he's going to celebrate it by kicking EY's ass, he says. So he signs the contract at that note. At On that note, Eric Young, he's like, oh, well, that's cute. That's real cute of you. Eric Young says, I once said all those same words to the people, but I lied back then, and you're lying now. And you, Josh Alexander, are 1,000 times better than any of these people in the crowd. Their opinions don't matter whatsoever. And then Eric Young says he's going to open Josh's eyes. So Eric Young also says Josh Alexander's afraid because Eric Young has family that can back him in the ring, where your family is just meek and miserable, like not miserable, but your wife and child basically can't help you. Where my family's Joe Doring and Cody Deaner, who happen to be wrestlers too, and they're here. So he accuses Josh of being scared for that fact, and Josh says he's going to walk into this Sunday with the entire company on his back. And he's going to fight for everybody, including EY and the rest of the TNA original legends, whether they want him to or not. So he's got a lot of pressure on him. Josh Alexander does. Josh goes through the laundry list of legends like I've already done on this Impact, so I'm not going to do it again. Everyone knows them thanks to Impact Wrestling. So whether it be like AJ Styles, people know his name since he started in Impact. So he's got a point there, at least on like AJ Styles and some of the other ones like Bobby Roode, and but not all of them. Like a Samoa Joe did a lot in ROH before ever joining. All Josh ever heard when he started in 2005, when he started as a professional wrestler, is that the best young Canadian around is Eric Young, Showtime Eric Young. But now Josh said he would just Josh says he's probably wasting his breath, but he tells Eric Young that the Showtime from 2005 would be disgusted at you. This pisses off Eric Young. Eric Young throws the table to the side. Scott D'Amore tries to break it up, but he's unsuccessful. 3-on-1 beatdown by Violent by Design. Eric Young starts choking with the flag. Josh with the flag. So Doring and Dealer take apart the entire ring. Then we get a turnbuckle hook to Josh's forehead. So now he's bleeding everywhere. Violent by Design take the ring cover off, exposing the wood underneath. So we've got carnage and chaos here. And earlier on, Eric Young was talking about how he drives something about a thin line between chaos and order. If you know, those are like exact opposites. And now he's bringing up the complete chaos here. The ring's been completely destroyed. Josh Alexander then gets pile driven straight on the exposed wood, and his blood is covering the exposed wood as we go off the air. So pretty good. And Eric Young's laughing, or not really laughing, but just smiling as it ends, and we fade to black. So really good ending, despite all of Josh's downfalls as a talker. It was covered up by all the passion from Eric Young here. Scott D'Amore was also really terrible at talking in this segment. So Eric Young had to carry this entire segment. I thought he did a good job. By the time it was all over, it was great. And I was looking forward to their match on Sunday, which, I mean, that's the whole purpose of the segment, right? They want you to get excited for the match on Sunday. So not a whole lot more to talk about here. I've basically given all my thoughts. I don't really have too many predictions at this point. Maybe I'll put out a pre-show if I have time for the pay-per-view and give some predictions there. But I assume like Ace Austin's going to retain. I assume Josh Alexander will probably retain as well. After we just saw Honor No More look like chumps, I assume that means they're going to win. You know how wrestling's weird like that. May as well make them look like chumps right before giving them a big win. So maybe that'll be something. I'm really super interested to see who the mystery partner is in that match, though. I'm hoping it's like AJ Styles or Jeff Jarrett or Kurt Angle or something along those lines. Christopher Daniels isn't a bad consolation. One of my favorites of all time from TNA. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll probably get Abyss in the Monsters Ball as well, and I could see us getting a new women's champion in Mia Yim for sure. I think Mia Yim's her popularity ever since joining Impact has been off the charts. She's got a great entrance. Definitely go look her entrance up. It reminds me of like those guys with the mask that did the dancing like with Shaq and the NBA All Stars. So she got like guys like that with masks dancing on her entrance, and it's all really cool. So she looks like a star. She deserves it. I hope Mia Yim wins the title. I hope Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary do not win the titles, even though I don't like the influencers. I don't like Rosemary, or I love Rosemary, but I do not like Taya Valkyrie. So I don't want them to win the titles. But even if they do win the titles, it would only be for storyline and probably just for them to fight within the next month anyway. So a lot to look forward to. I'm gonna get going there. I'll be back later. Sorry, Sam. I was not looking at any of these. I was not looking at any of these. Sorry about that. But yeah, I heard about um wow. No. Guys, I did not. I have not heard this news. What, are you kidding me? I mean, obviously I heard about all the other news leading up to this very moment in time. But no, I have not heard any official news about Vince stepping down. Oh my God, it's Stephanie the interim CEO. I believe you. I completely believe you. So I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna go investigate this news. Maybe I'll get back on and talk about this news in a little bit. Wow, thanks for the update, guys. Sorry, I had my notes covering the live. Wow, there's this literally never ends. So if you want to, I just gave all my feelings about the week's news in the flagship Wonderful Wrestling podcast. I put that out about 6 hours ago. It's already outdated now, but I talk about Jeff Hardy, Vince, and Sasha Banks a lot on that. So I'm gonna get going. Thanks for the update. I'm looking forward to Impact, and I'll talk to you guys real soon. And if I might even put some more 2K streams up tonight, or I mean today. So depends on what's going on. But I'll be back tonight no matter what with NXT Level Up, SmackDown, and wow, SmackDown. So are you telling me SmackDown's about to be the first ever show in the history since 40 years that Vince McMahon isn't writing and in charge of? Holy crap. I gotta get going and look the news. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll talk to you next time. Slammiversary is Sunday, and I'll be back with SmackDown, Rampage, and NXT Level Up tonight. Thanks for watching. Peace.